The Angular CLI will do it automatically. You can use the command ng-gc and the name of the component. It will automatically create the component and will import it in app module. Like you can see, my component, it has automatically imported. And to use the component, first you see in the TS file, like this is the selector. Then you can use this selector as HTML tag. Then Angular will know that this is the place where we have to inject the code of this component. The component is here.
Harshit, is it npm start or is it run start?
npm start works. Yes, npm start.
Okay. I guess you can start with today's session.
Okay, so today
Just
first
bring
I'll
this
tell you
first
about
it's just yeah, Nagoshi sir is in. You can start, yeah.
Okay, so today first I'll tell you that I'll today use a new ID. It's called WebStorm. It it actually works better with Angular than VS Code. And to get it, you can go to web. You can Google WebStorm.
Is it necessary for all of us to download this right now?
No, it's not necessary. I'm just telling about a new ID. It makes working with Angular little easier. It automatically suggests things. It's actually paid, but there is a thing called GitHub Student through which you can get it from free. So I'm just telling that.
Okay, could you please, once you sign it, post the link in the chat box?
Can you please repeat?
After you find the list, could you please put it in the chat box?
This GitHub link. Okay, so you can apply for GitHub Student Pack, and you can also get many other cool softwares for free. Like you can get free domains and Unity student plan and all the IDs of JetBrains. So do I need to revise yesterday's thing, or we can go forward if no one has any doubt?
Just revise in 5 minutes and then we can go ahead. Don't teach everything again, just revise.
Okay. So yesterday we saw commands like ng generate component and how to install Angular. Then we also saw that there is a module that contains all the other components and services, and how to generate a new component using the command ng-gc and then the name of the component. And here is the app component. This is the first component that gets started whenever we run our Angular project. And we also saw how to include other components using them as HTML tags. Then we saw string interpolation to display the data from TS file into the HTML, and we also saw property binding that also acts as a way to get the data from TypeScript file. Then we saw event binding. This is used to inform TypeScript about some changes. And one more thing, here is the index.html file. This is the file where everything is present, like you can change the title of your project and the web page. And here is app root. This is the first thing that gets run whenever we load our project. And if you see here, this has the same selector. So whenever we run, the app component gets to the page. If you want to add any global styles, then you can add them here in styles.css, or if you want to import any CDN, then you can add it in index.html in the head tag. So that was the revision. If anyone has any doubt, then ask. Okay, so we'll begin with today's lecture. First, I'll create a new project here. Using the same command we saw yesterday, ng-new, and then we'll call it to do. So while it's installing packages, let's see what we'll try to do today. So we'll try to create a to-do list app. It will have a input on the top, and then we can type our task, and then we'll click on add button. Then these lists automatically gets populated. We'll have that app component. This will have all the data. Then it will have two children, search bar component and to-do list component. And we'll pass all the to-do tasks to this component. And whenever the search bar gets submitted in the input tag, then it will inform the app component about the data. So first let's do this much. It's installed. First, let's create two new components that we mentioned earlier. Okay, so the two components are created. Now we'll start our server. While it's starting, let's change the component.html. We'll remove all the pre code that came with Angular, and we'll just write a search bar on top, and besides that have to-do list, and save the file. Okay, so it started. Let's refresh the page. Okay, so we have search bar on top and to-do list on top. So today for styling we are gonna use Bootstrap. So I'll just Google Bootstrap and I'll open the first link that says the most popular CSS. Okay, so I'll go on top and I'll grab this link that says CSS only. I'll copy this and I'll paste it in index.html and I'll save the file. Okay, so Bootstrap is added. Now we'll wrap everything in a container. This is Bootstrap CSS styles. So now you can see it's a little centered. So now first we'll create our search bar. To do that, I'll go to Bootstrap style site and then go to documentation. Then here are components. You can find all the components that are here. So first I'll go to input group. And we'll search here for something. Okay, this looks like what we were trying to get. So I'll copy the code from here. And I'll paste it in the HTML. Okay, so we get this search bar here. We will change a little bit things, like we'll remove the placeholder and all those things. And I'll also remove this ID. I'll change this to submit and I'll wrap everything in a form. Okay, so now it looks good. Let's change this also button. Okay, so our search bar is created. Now we have to add binding to it, like what we are typing we have to see. So let's see here. What we used to do previously was user enters the text, then when they click button we read the value from the input tag and we update the DOM. Now we are using Angular and Angular automatically updates the DOM, we don't do it. So now the user will enter the text and we'll store it as some property, and then whenever the user click the button we'll use that stored property and we'll show it somewhere else. So is this new thing clear to everyone?
Hello, Harsha.
Yes sir.
Yeah, can you go a bit slow? As like even on my system, I'm still at the stage where it's installing packages. So a bit slower would be good.
Okay.
Yeah. And everyone, if you have any doubts, just post them in the group so that we can address them. Okay, just don't sit and just listen to what he's saying. Ask him doubts.
Okay, so I'll repeat it once more. First, we are going to create an app that looks like this. It will have a search bar. It will have a search bar here, and then whenever we click on add, it will automatically populate the list of items. So, and then we have our app component here. It will have two children, search bar component and to-do list component. The app component will have all the data, and it will pass the data to-do list component to show. And whenever we click on the add button in the search bar component, something will happen and app component will be informed, and it will add a new item in the array of to-do list. Then we created our new project and we created two components, search bar and to-do list, as we have discussed. And in the component.html, we showed the list here, the components here. On the top goes search bar, and beside it on the bottom to-do list. Okay, so till now it's clear to everyone.
Yeah, and where did you include the Bootstrap CSS file, or did does it come by default?
Yes. No, it doesn't come by default. We have to open the site of Bootstrap. It's getbootstrap.com. Let me paste it in chat.
Right. No, you'll need to paste the CDN somewhere, right?
Yes, yes. So we'll copy the CDN from here, CSS only. Okay, we copied it. Then we went to Angular app. Then here is index.html. This is the main file that gets displayed. So we pasted the CDN here.
Okay, got it.
Okay, so now with this link pasted, the Bootstrap is included into our project. Then we worked on search bar component. And first we went to the Bootstrap site and we went to documentation. Then there's a section here called components. I think you need to change your directory. System 32 is reserved directory for Windows system files. You can't create things there. Change into some other folder. Okay, so here is the Bootstrap site. Here we can find all the components like buttons. Like here we can find the code and also a preview of what they do. Like this is the primary button. It looks like this. Then secondary, then success, and all those things. Okay, so here we went to input group because we want our input tab. Then we went to button add-ons. So we copied the CSS for this thing. It's here. Okay, so we copied this much CSS and pasted it there. So till here, anyone has any doubt?
So everyone just listen. Harshit?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So I just pasted a URL in a chat. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So whatever we are conducting, we are recording and we are putting on YouTube or virtual lab channels. So your video is live.
Okay, sir. So we copied this input tag and button and we pasted it in our search bar component, and we wrapped everything in a form so that whenever we press the button we can get an event. So any doubt till here to anyone? Okay, then we saw how we'll handle form now using Angular, because it follows a different approach than what we previously did. Previously, user enters the text, then whenever they click on a button, at that time we read the value from the input tag and we update the DOM ourselves. Now whenever user enters the text, the instantly the property whatever he typed will get stored in a property that is in our component, and whenever the user clicks on the button, at that time we'll use the values that is stored earlier and do some uh, we'll do something with that, and we are not updating the DOM because Angular automatically hand we don't need to select the elements from the DOM and change it. Okay, till now anyone has any doubt? Okay, so now we'll see how components send data among themselves. Like we have a component here that calls app demo, and inside the app demo we have some property named some data, and it also emits an event called some event. So just like we were doing with other HTML elements like div we were binding in our HTML, we'll do the same syntax here. We'll use property binding onto the name that we declare here, and same way like we were listening for click event or any other event from button, same way we'll use the @output decorator to tell Angular that it will emit some event, and that way we can handle it. So it will become a little more clear when we type it and do our task. So first I'll open the TS file. I'll add a property here like task, and I'll initialize it to an empty string. So now in this input tag, I'll say its value is task. Okay, yesterday we also saw two-way data binding. We can do that also, but I am showing you an alternate syntax so that you know both the things, like how to do it manually or how to import forms module and do that. So it will get a default value of whatever is task, because we are using this square brackets, so anything inside this code gets treated like code and not value. So the search bar will search inside the TS component and it will find a value named task, so it will bind its value to task. Now we also need to update it, like whenever we type, the value of task need to get updated, otherwise it will always remain an empty string. So I'll bind and So whenever we get input, I like to call a method like handle input. It's complaining that no such method exists, so we'll add a method handle input, and it gets called with some event. Okay, so first we'll just console.log that event to see what we are getting. And to get that event, there is a predefined symbol called $sign event, and it will just pass the event that occurs naturally. So this is syntax. This is reserved keyword for Angular whenever we are using this event binding. So we'll go here. Let me restart. I think I'm getting some error. I don't know what the issue was previously, but it gets fixed. So whenever I'm typing something, we get an event. So if we expand this event and go to target, so this is our input tag that we attach this event on. So if we go to target and go to value inside it, this target is the input tag that we had. There will be a value here, yes. So there is a value property attribute inside of it, and it contains the string that is inside this input tag. So we'll use this value to update our property of task. So instead of console.log, I'll say this.task is equals to e.target.value. Okay, so now whenever we are typing this task, it gets automatically changed, and we always have the value inside this variable that is typed into our input tag. Like the value right now inside that will be this string. So till now anyone has any doubt, then they can ask. Okay, so we accomplished this part here. We store the value inside the property. Now we have to handle this part of the user clicking the button. So by default, we have wrapped the search bar inside a form. So whenever the button is clicked, the form gets submitted. Like type something, click, the forms get submitted. But one thing that we noticed is whenever the form gets submitted, the page refreshes, and whenever a fresh page is loaded, all the things that we had inside our class, the state, it all gets lost. So we have to prevent the default behavior, that is of submitting the form and refreshing the page. So just like we added a input, we'll add a submit here, and we'll add a method. Let's add a method first. So I'll call the method handle submit. This will also get an event. So let's take this. And whenever the form gets submitted, I'll call this method handle submit and pass it the event using the same syntax that we saw. It's reserved keyword $sign event. So whenever it gets submitted, this function will get called. And to prevent the default behavior, that is of refreshing the page, we'll call e.prevent default. Okay, and also we'll console.log task to see if everything is working or not. So let's try this thing. Let me type like test string. And whenever I click this button, see the page doesn't refresh and we console.log this value. So everything till now is working fine. So if anyone has any doubt till now.
Can you show the TS files?
It's complaining about we didn't have return type, so that's not an issue. We can add void here. It's TypeScript complaining. So whenever the form gets submitted, we first call prevent default so that the default behavior doesn't occur of refreshing the page. Then we do whatever task we were supposed to do. So this is the HTML file we added to event binders. This thing can also be done using two-way data binding that we saw yesterday. That looks something like this. If you remember, ng model is equal to the. Okay. This thing was similar, but I am showing you the alternate way of doing this. If you don't know about two-way data binding, then also you can do this. Let's add this here for comment for future reference. Okay, so till now any issues with anyone or any doubts?
No, not yet. It's compiling.
Okay, so can we move forward, or I'll wait for 1-2 minutes? Okay, so now whenever the forms get submitted, we have to send this data to the parent. Who is the parent? App component is the parent. So how do we send this? We'll use this output thing to send the data to the parent. So let me just show you, then we'll see how it works. So I'll first add the rate output, then I'll add any name that we want to give to our event. Just make sure that this name and the name, whenever the parent registers of event, should be same. So I'll name this anything like add to do. Okay, so it will be new event emitter, and we can also give the type of what type of event it will emit, like what type of data it will give to the parent. If we don't give any type, then it says any, or we can explicitly specify it. Like right now we'll always give a type of string, so I'll add string here. And we need to import this event emitter. There are actually 3 things from where event emitter is imported, so make sure that event emitter is imported from Angular/core. Sometimes it gets imported from other places, like I don't know where, JavaScript and all that. So it should be imported from Angular core, otherwise it will throw some error. Okay, so we have set this property add to do is equal to new event emitter and the type that it will emit. If you don't specify this, then it can emit any type. So now we need to emit this. So I'll this dot add to do dot emit. That's it, this dot task. So it will emit an event, and that event will pass the data of whatever is in the variable at that time. And after emitting, we want to reset our form, so we'll just initialize to empty string so that our form gets empty. Okay, so this is syntax that you have to memorize to pass the data from child to parent, and then whenever we have to pass, we add dot emit to that. And don't forget to import everything from @Angular/core. Okay, so till now any doubt in this syntax or whatever, how it's working, anything? Okay, so now it will emit an event and we need to watch for that event. Otherwise there will be, the event will get wasted. Like whenever we click on a button, if we don't have anything to do, then there is no use of clicking. So it's the same syntax like we did previously. We add round brackets and then we add the name, add to do, and then we'll call some function. Let's create some function first. First I'll add here to do's is empty array. Then I'll add a function, add to do. It will get called with something. Let's say it's so I just push. I say title is data, completed is false. We are adding this completed property here because we have to show that this thing, we have to strike through this, so it will help in later on identifying whether it's completed or not, and if it's completed we'll strike through that thing. Okay. So this method is created, add to do. It will receive a data as in form of string, and this will push a new object into the to do's array. The object will have two fields, title, that will be this data that we received, and initially it will not be completed because we are creating it right now, so it's not completed. So now let's register this. We added add to do. Let's change this name so that it won't be same. Let's make this add my to do. And the same way, like we use $sign event to get whatever data is passed whenever an event occurs, and this add to do needs to match with whatever we have typed here. Okay, so let's save this, see if it's working or not. Okay, so I clicked on add to do, the field gets reset and it would have been added in the array. So now I think our search bar is created. We have done everything. We received the values that user typed, then on click of the form gets submitted whenever we click the button, and we pass it to the parent and we add to do's. Now we'll work on our to do list. So first thing is, let's add a property here, to do's, initialize it to empty array, and I'll also decorate it like we did to output. I'll say @input. This thing tells that we'll receive it from parent, and if the parent does not give any value, then it will initialize to empty array is equal to its default value. If you don't give anything, then it will not initialize and it will be null, but we want to initialize it in case it does not give. Okay, so now same way like we were using property binding on other elements like div, we'll also add this thing here. So Now app component will pass to do. Let's change the name so that it becomes a little more clear. Let's change this to my to do's. Okay, so now here we need to change it to my to do's. Okay, so whenever this app component will call this app to do list, it will pass the to do's this array to this component, and it will be stored in the property by the name myToDo's. Just like we did property binding to other HTML elements, we do it to our own created components too. It's like the same thing. Just we need to remember that we need to define that property here with an input tag. Otherwise, it will throw an error like it throwed here can't bind to do since it isn't a known property. So we need to declare it here. So till now, any doubt to anyone? Okay, so we need to pass the data from parent to child. So we need to pass the data from parent to child. Like this is the parent as it's calling the app demo component. So just like we had with HTML elements, let me show you. Like we had a div here and we were binding its inner HTML to something. Okay, so just like we were binding this div's property inner HTML, the same way we'll also send the data using event property binding. So we'll use the same syntax. We'll use the round brackets and then name of the property, and since it's in square brackets, so anything inside this will get treated like code. So it will search for to-dos inside the app component.ts. So it finds this variable here. So its value will be passed to app to-do list, and it will be binded to the property named myToDo's. And if such property does not exist, then it will throw an error. It will say something like we had here, can't bind to do's since it isn't a known property. So inside the child, we'll create myToDo's, and we'll add a decorator of input because we are receiving it from outside. So that Angular knows that it will receive it from outside, we use this decorator, and it's also imported from @angular/core. And we give it a default value of empty array. So if nothing is passed from parent, then it will initialize to empty array. Okay, so any doubt till here? Okay, so now it's receiving array. So now we need to loop through every item inside the array and display it in our component. So how do we loop? So to loop, we have a syntax here. We first write whatever element we want to recreate multiple times. Then this is the syntax. We write asterisk then ng for equal to then we create this quotes and then we write let item in items. Items is inside our component which can be iterated, and for each loop one time this the value will get inside the variable named item. And we can also add this thing let I is equal to index so that we can get the index of that thing. Okay, so this is the syntax, and for inside this div we can use this item whatever we name we gave, we can use it whatever we like. So is any confusion till now, or we can move forward?
Everyone reply in the chat to whatever he is asking. He's teaching this for you. If anyone have any doubts or anything is not clear, ask it right now itself.
Okay, so we'll just loop over it, then it will become a little more clear. So inside this, first I'll create a div and the same syntax ng for I'll let and then any name that you want to give. Like in Python, if you have studied, we used to say that let name book in books or something like that. So you can give it any name. So I'll say let task in and then my to dos. Okay, so now inside this block, this task is available to us, this property, and we can use it whatever we like. So let's first just interpolate this into this so that we can see if it's working correctly or not. Then we'll work on styling. Okay, so ng for is equal to let the off. Okay. Actually it's off here. In JavaScript we use off on array and in objects to loop. So let's see if this works or not. So right now we have no element, and let's type something like test. Okay, so an object came here. Why it's object? Because initially we were storing it as object, so this object will get inside that loop, so we can access the title property of that. So let's change it to task.title. Okay, so let's try one more time. Task 1, task 2. Okay, so our loop is working correctly and the data is also getting displayed. So now to work on our styling, we'll go to Bootstrap again and I'll search for list group. Okay, so this thing looks good, so I'll copy this and paste it here. So we want to have many li elements that will contain this task.title. So I'll add my ng for here. Same syntax, let task of my to dos. Okay, then I just create a task.title. Okay, so like there are 4 elements, then this loop will run 4 times, and each time a new li item will be created here. So total there will be 4 li items if the array has 4 elements, and inside that there will be, this will be the text inside that. Let's try this again. Okay, so it's working correctly right now. So if anyone has any doubt in the looping part, then they can ask.
Can you show the output decorator of search bar? I'm getting an error.
It should be imported from @angular/core.
No, I imported it. I didn't have the file.
This event emitter.
No, I got an error. Thank you.
Okay. So anyone else has any error? Okay, so let's, can you please show that? Okay, so this is Bootstrap styling that we copied from their site. It will have an ordered list with a class of list group, and inside we want to have many li elements that will display. So in the li element we created a for loop, ng for. Task is whatever name we like to give, we can give it here, and my to do's is the property inside the class. And since inside the my to do's each element is a, what is that called, array, no, object, so we access task.title. Okay, so now whenever we click the element, we want that its completed property, completed, yes, it should be flipped. Like if it's true, then it should be false, and false, then true. So we'll add a method like flip completed. It will receive an index that will be of type number, and we'll just flip our to do's. So this dot to do's index dot. Okay, so it will just flip the completed property. Initially it will be false. Whenever we click it, it will become true, and if we click it again, it will become false. Okay, so we added this method in the component because we have all the to do's here. So whatever changes we want to require to make, we'll make it inside the component.ts file. Okay, so any doubt till now? Okay, so now whenever we click it, now again we have to add that output decorator, because the click will occur inside this to-do list and it will inform the parent. So again, that same syntax, @output. Let's call this one toggle. So it will emit a type of number, and don't forget to import event emitter from Angular core. So we have created our toggle event. So whenever we click on any element, we'll fire this event and the app component will know that this thing is clicked and it will trigger. So now inside this, I'll add a click listener here. Okay, so whenever I click this, I'll create toggle and I'll call it with, actually let's create method first, otherwise it will give error. Let's call the method toggle item. So it will get full. Okay, so whenever we click on the list, we'll call this toggle item method and we'll pass the index, and this index will then emit an event and that event will be registered by our app component. Okay, so whenever we toggle, we'll just flip completed with event. Okay, so we'll listen for the toggle event, and whenever that occurs, we'll call the flip completed method with whatever data we have received. So let's call this method whenever we click on that. Okay, so whenever we click here, we'll call this method and we'll pass I. So since I is not known, so I'll add let. Okay, so I will be the index, and also this is any name you can give, like you can also call it my index. You can pass my index here. So right side should be is equal to index, and this we can give any name to our choice. This will contain the index of the element. So whenever we'll click on any element, we'll call the toggle item method and it will toggle it. But since we are not using the property of completed, we'll see the same thing. So let's see. Let's create a class first named Stripe, which is CSS class, and whatever it will be applied to, it will let me Google, I forgot that. Line 3. Okay, so this is CSS class. Whatever element it gets applied to, that thing will appear as cut. So now we have to apply it to this thing. I'll wrap it inside a span so that I can apply the class. So now we have to see how we can apply the CSS class conditionally. So to apply the class conditionally, we use a syntax called ng class, and we wrap it inside a square brackets, and we pass it an object. The key will be the class that we want to apply, and the value will be a condition. And if the condition is true, then the class will get applied, otherwise it will not get applied. So in this way we can apply multiple classes. So let's try this syntax. Okay, so I'll just say ng class, then I'll give it an object and the name of our class that we created right now. So I created it in wrong place. It's in here. It's the class name is striped. So this is striped, and the condition will be task dot completed. So if task dot completed is true, the CSS class striked will be applied to this span, and this hill will appear as strike through. Otherwise it will appear normally, because if this condition is false, then no class will be applied. So let's try this thing. I'll add okay, so now I'm clicking, this thing gets striked. Okay, so it's too much for today, but if any doubt, then you can ask. There's one more topic left, then you can go and practice later. Or so if you have any doubt or any question, then you can ask. Okay. So let's say if our task is
Yeah.
Hello?
So can you like explain it over again? I think it was a bit fast.
that ng class thing.
No, I'll say the entire strike through thing.
Okay, so whenever each object has a task property in a completed property inside it. So if completed is true, then we want to strike through this, whatever this is written inside here, we want to strike through it. So to apply the strike through, we went inside the CSS class of to-do list component, and we created a class named striked, and inside we applied a text decoration of line through its CSS syntax. So we created our class. Now we want this class to be applied to this element only if the task dot completed is true. So to conditionally apply the CSS classes, we have a syntax here. We use ng class and we provide square brackets, and inside it, as we are using square brackets, so this will get treated as quote, everything inside the string. So we pass an object. So the key of the object is the CSS class that we want to get applied, and its value will be a boolean value. So if the boolean is true, then that class gets applied to the element that we are using on. Otherwise the class does not get applied. So that way we can conditionally apply the class and get the effect of strike through. So is it clear right now, or?
Yes. Thank you.
Okay. So also now we want to add a button that will get displayed only when this is striked. Right, let's add a button. Let's call it delete. We'll apply class of, this is bootstrap class of buttons. You can see it in the bootstrap documentation later. So we want to display this button if this is striked, and whenever this button is clicked, we want to remove that element from the array. So to conditionally show elements, we use the ng if. We type a star and then ng if, and we show a condition inside this quotes. So if the condition is true, then the element gets displayed, otherwise it will not be available inside the HTML. This is the syntax ng if. Okay, so let's apply this. Also ng if is equal to task dot completed. Okay, so if the task is completed, then this thing will show, otherwise it will not show. So let's test this out. Okay, so right now the task is not completed, so we are not seeing the button, but if we click on it, we see the button. Okay, so let's add the button to the right side. It looks awkward here. This is also CSS class of Bootstrap float, right? It puts everything on the right side. Okay, so this thing comes here, and one interesting thing is if we click on the button, this thing gets toggled also. So whenever we'll click on this button, this strike through thing will also get toggled, but we want to prevent this behavior. So we'll see one more event cancelling thing. Let's first create a method for this too. I will say remove item. So it will be called with event and index. So first let's call this thing. Okay, so whenever we click it, first will be the event inside our method. So we'll use the same $event, and second will be the index that we want to delete. So I'll pass my index. Sorry, remove item. Okay, so whenever we click this, the method remove item will get called, and first item it will receive is the event, and the second item is the index. So we want to prevent the behavior, because this button is inside an li, and li already has a click listener on it. So whenever we click the button, this click event also occurs. So we want to prevent any click event that occur outside our button. So in HTML there is a thing called event dot stop propagation. So it will prevent the click behavior from getting outside to the parent element. So let's try if this is working. Then we'll work on the task removal. Task 1. I'll strike off. Now when we click on the button, this does not get strike through, because we have used the stop propagation, so the event will not propagate outside this. But if we click outside, then it will get deleted. Okay, so any problem till here? This stop propagation thing. Okay, so we have stopped the propagation. Now we'll also create one more output event, so that the app component will get notified that we want to delete this element. We'll say output. Okay. This will also pass a number. We'll say this dot delete dot emit, and then we'll pass the index here. Give this a type. Okay, so now in index.html we have to listen for this. Okay, so whenever delete occurs, we can either create a function like this, or we can also do this thing right here itself, because everything here is a code. So it's an alternate way. Like if you don't want to create function and it's a little thing, then we can do it here also. Like to do dot splice. Splice is a method that takes the first argument as the index from where we want to delete. So index will be available as $sign event, and how many elements we want to delete. We want to delete one element. Okay, so you can also create a function like this and pass the argument, or you can simply execute the code here itself. It's not too big. Why do we need to create extra functions? So let's try if this works. So customer task one. So I'll complete this one. Now we want to delete it. We'll click on delete and it gets deleted. So any confusion to anyone or any doubts? This splice is a JavaScript method to remove elements from array.
What is that event doing?
That
The dollar
event
event of splice, what is it passing?
Wait, let me tell you. We were passing the index here in the event.
Okay.
The index that we want to delete inside the. So it will splice, it will start from that index and it will delete one element. So only one will get removed.
Okay. But you have written a method called as remove item as well, right? So all it is doing is listening, or what? Or you've written it in to-do list component.
Yes, it was first for that stop propagation thing, so that the this method does not get called. And then we emit this thing.
We emit the index.
Yes. We create an event.
Okay, so you can just we can just delete it from here as well, right? We can just this dot task dot splice.
No,
can we do it here?
No, actually the to-do list is originally available in app component. So only app component can remove it. We are passing it inside to app to-do list. So app to-do list cannot change the source. It can inform the parent about the source, and then parent removes it. And once it's removed, the class state is changed. So this HTML will get again, it will run again everything, and it will pass the new to-dos to this list, and that's why that doesn't occur there.
Okay, got it.
That was too much for today, I think.
Yeah, are you uploading this on Git?
Yes, I'll upload this and also the notes on Git.
Yeah, that will be good. Yeah, if anyone have any doubts, ask him fast. And how many of you tried it? Put that also in the chat.
Okay, so we'll have the next session on Monday, sir.
Monday? Okay.
Yes, sir. So 2 days people can try and practice.
Yeah, that's okay. So just upload the code on Git GitHub. So, and put the link on the group or something like that. So you'll be available to solve doubts, right?
Yes, sir. I'll be available.
Yeah, that will be good. So, and ask everyone to put up screenshots or small videos of their working code. So at least like
Okay.
it will be something like they've tried it. And also,
Yes, sir.
I have a small suggestion: add comments on your code, so that just like simple comments. So that will be easier. So whenever someone refers to your code on GitHub, it will be easier for them. Okay?
Okay, sir. I'll add comments later and push it.
Yeah, yeah. When you're pushing, add them. So it will be easier for everyone to understand what you're doing. Okay,
Yes, sir.
so are we done with today's session then?
Yes, sir. We are done.
Okay, so I guess no one has any doubts. Most of them put a no doubts, so that will be easy. Okay, so you can end the session.
Okay, sir.